start. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatim Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravassamam Vyashtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspadaana Shrunvannuti Dasadanam. Om Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namah. Om Vrishabham Chashaninam Vishwarupamadabhyam Brahaspatim Varenyam. Om Tadvishno Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suraya Divi Vachakshuratatam. Om Shrim Dhrim Jyotirbrahmaya Namah. Can everyone say Hare Ram Krishna 3 times? Om Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Rama Krishna. Om Parasharaya Namah 3 times. Om Parasharaya Namah, Om Parasharaya Namah, Om Parasharaya Namah. So we are in chapter 24. We are in verse 7. Lagne se saptame pape bharya tasya na jivati subhe tano daridro va virakto va nrupo viva. Lagne se saptame pape. Lagne se saptame pape bharya tasya na jivati. Are you sure this is where we are? Yeah, not this chapter. It's the wrong chapter. Sorry. Because I thought I started this chapter we did long back. Yeah. It is chapter 34, not 24. Yeah, we are in Santanam's version of BTHS. We are in chapter 34, Yogakaraka. And we did the first 6. Did we do the first 6?
7 verses.
7 verses. Yeah. Makes sense. That makes sense because this is a unit. Okay. We are on 8th verse now in chapter 34. Guru Shukrau Subhau Proktau Chandro Madhyama Uchyate Udasino Budhakhyata Papa Ravyati Bhumijah. Guru Shukrau Subhau Proktau means Jupiter and Venus are Subhau Proktau, they are auspicious. Chandro Madhyama Uchyate means moon is medium. Udasino Buddha Khyata. Udasina means he is not even medium, little less than medium. He is weak. Khyata Papa Ravyati Bhumijaha. Ravi Arki Bhumijaha. Sun, Mars and Saturn. So he is giving general nature. Earlier, he basically said how which planets are auspicious, which planets are inauspicious for various lagnas. How to find, he defined earlier, right? In the first 7 verses which we covered in the last class. So the summary was, from the last class, the summary was, the lords of the Kendras, if they are Saumya basically, if they are Saumya planets, if they are natural benefics like Jupiter, Venus, still they don't give auspicious results. Nadishanti Shubham Phalam. Krura Naiva Shubham Kuryuhu Subhadasya Trikonapaha. And even natural malefics, they don't really do inauspicious. So bottom line is, natural, irrespective of the planet being natural malefic or natural benefic, the lords of the Kendras are, they are neither very auspicious nor very inauspicious. They are medium. On the other hand, the lords of the trines are Subhadaha, means they give auspicious results. And he said, Lagnam Kendra Trikonatva Visheshaya Suhistadam. Lagna, because it is both a Kendra and a Kona, Lagna will be particularly auspicious. So he is saying, lots of these houses are auspicious for a person, lots of these houses are inauspicious, and lots of these houses are medium. That is what he is defining. And then he said, He said 3, 6 and 11. Those lords are inauspicious. 3 Shad Aya Adhipa Sarve Graha Papslaha. Irrespective of whether a planet is natural benefic or natural malefic, whether it is Jupiter or Saturn. If a planet owns 3, 6 and 11 houses, they are inauspicious. They are malefic. And the way we explained it earlier was, how did we explain it? What is the rationale? The signs are the blessings from the previous life. Whatever you did, the good you did, the good karmas you did, as a result of it, you get the blessings. You get protection from God, which is the 9th house, and 5th house is your abilities, the strengths that you have. So, because these are blessings from a last life, whichever planet owns, whichever planet's job it is to give you the blessings. The lord of a house is somebody who has their agenda. He's told, you have to take care of this. This is your agenda. So, lord of a trine is somebody who's given an agenda of giving the results of your blessings from the last life. So, he will be auspicious to you. He will not make you work harder. He will not give you trouble. He will give things easily. So, basically, planets who are auspicious are the ones who give things easily. On the other hand, 3, 6 and 11 houses. What are those houses? 11 is fulfillment of your desires. Fulfillment. Final gains. Getting things accomplished. And 3 and 6 are, third house is the house of drive, the initiative, the fire inside you to do something. 6 is fighting, the fighting spirit. So third is basically getting up and starting to do things, and 6 is fighting with somebody and finishing it off. So it doesn't mean that those lords will be, are not good for you always. What it means is, those planets, their job, their agenda is to make you work hard, to make you fight, to make you get up and have to do things basically. So compared with the trine lords, these guys don't give things easily. They make you work hard. That is why they are inauspicious. They are inauspicious for Lagna. Lagna is you, your body. They are inauspicious for you because you have to exert. They make you exert. That's all. You shouldn't say that those planets are always terrible. They don't give you any success. We're not talking about success or failure. We say Shubha and Ashubha. Planets who are Shubha, they give things relatively easily. Or their agenda is to give easily. But the thing is, somebody may say, hey, you know what? Oh, you want to go and book tickets for the show? You don't have to go. I'll get for you. And then you don't go. The person, let's say, doesn't get it or loses the tickets on the way. Then you are in trouble. So like that, somebody whose agenda is to help you give things very easily may actually mislead you. You may think that, I'll get it very easily, and then there may be a disappointment. Similarly, somebody whose job it is to make you work hard, he may actually end up doing you good. So, these words, Shubha and Ashubha Prada, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. Basically, you have to understand the context of what they actually mean. And then we said that 2 and 8, lords of the second house and 8th house, they are the neutral planets. We usually say neutral planets, but Parashara's terminology is not that. If you look carefully, he said, Yedvitiya Randheja Sahajaryat Phalapradaha. And Sthanantaranadhate Prabhalasthatra. So what he said is, in the case of second and 8th lord, if there is another house they own, based on it you decide. And also Sahajarya, based on who they are with, decide. Bottom line is, these are the houses. Second house is accumulating things, and 8th house is working hard. So these are the houses of working hard, and this is the house of 2 and 8th houses. These are the houses of working hard and accumulating things. And now, is it good for you or bad for you depends on other things. If the same planet also owns, the planet who owns the 8th house, let's say, also owns the 9th house, then he also has to give you fortune. And he has to make you work hard. So you will work hard and you will get fortune. So overall, he will be a Shubhaprada planet. On the other hand, apart from it, let's say the 8th lord is with 9th lord and they are friends. So 8th lord wants to make you work hard, and 9th lord says, I want to give him some fortune. So when both the planets are friends, they will work together. On the other hand, if the other planet is 6th lord, he will say, oh, I want to make this person, give this person lot of enemies. He says, yeah, my job is to give him lot of troubles, and your job is to give him lot of enemies. Let's do it together. So basically, you may have lot of enemies, and you may have to work hard fighting those enemies. So the thing is, whoever he is with, this planet is with, based on that, the nature is decided. This is what Parashara said. Normally we say 1, 4, 7, 10. If it is a malefic, it is good. If it is a benefic, it is neutral. That's not what Parashara is saying. He said 1, 4, 7, 10. The Kendras are neutral for all planets. They are not necessarily auspicious for auspicious planets and not necessarily inauspicious for inauspicious planets. For both, they are basically kind of neutral houses. Why? Because Kendras are Konas are Lakshmi Sthanas. Kendras are Vishnu Sthanas. So, Konas will give you blessings. Kendras show what you do in the work that you do. Not necessarily working hard or fighting enemies, which is the case with 3, 6. These are more gentle, but still working. Fourth house is fourth house is the house of having a direction in life. Seventh house is interacting with people, and 10th house is going and doing something in a society. So 4, 7 and 10 is finding some direction, dealing with people and getting things done. So this basically means getting things done. So Kendras, the Vishnu Sthana stands for doing things, as opposed to getting things very easily, which is Lakshmi Sthana, Trikonas. So for that reason, those planets are neither benefic, neither Shubha nor Ashubha. They are neutral. They don't particularly give you things very easily. At the same time, they don't make things particularly difficult to come. Okay? So that's why 1, 4, 7, 10 are neutral, 1, 5, 9 are benefic, 2, 8 are neutral, 3, 6, 11 are bad. Bad meaning, basically a lot of effort basically needed. So that is what Parashara said. Now, on top of it, he is basically giving he is classifying the inherent nature of the planet further. What he is saying is, Guru Shukrau Shubhau Praktau. Jupiter and Venus are auspicious planets. Chandro Madhyam Uchite. Moon is medium. Udasino Budhas Khyataha. Mercury is well known as very extremely moderate. Not even medium, less than medium. Papa Ravyarki Dhanyaha. Sun, Mars and Saturn are they are basically Papa. They are male fish. Punen Dugnejya Shukrasya Pravala Uttarottaram Shrinen Varkarki Bhuputraha Pravalasya Yathottaram Kendradhipatya Doshoyah Shubhanam Kasito Hisaha Chandragnagur Shukranam Pravalasya Okay. Punen Dugnejya Shukrasya Pravala Uttarottaram Punendu Nejya Shukrasya Pravala Uttarottaram. Punendu means full moon. Vidya means Punendu Gna means Mercury. Vidya means Jupiter. Shukra means Venus. So full moon, Mercury, Jupiter and Venus. Pravala Uttarottaram means they are stronger than each other. So compared to full moon, Mercury is stronger, and then compared to him, Jupiter is stronger. Compared to him, Venus is stronger.
So Venus is highest.
Yeah, Venus is the most beneficial planet according to Parashara. So Venus highest, next Jupiter, next Mercury, next full moon. And then Kshinen Varkar Ki Bhuputra Prabala Yathottaram Kshinendu means waning. Earlier was Punendu means full moon or waxing moon. Now Kshinendu means waning moon or very thin moon. Kshinendu Arka Arki Bhuputraha. Arka Arki Bhuputraha. Arka means sun, Arki means Saturn, Bhuputra means Mars. Pravalasya Yathottaram. They are in that order: weak moon, sun, Saturn and Mars. In terms of malefic nature, they are stronger than each other. So, waning moon is the least malefic planet. Even though everybody is a natural malefic, waning moon is least malefic. The next is Sun. The next is Saturn. Final Mars. So Mars is the worst malefic planet in terms of inherent nature. Of course, in a planet he may be Shubha Prada. Kendrajipatya doshoyah Shubhanam Karito Hisaha. The dosha of Kendrajipatya, owning a quadrant, that was mentioned for the benefic planets. Basically, because of which a benefic planet will lose benefits. It will become neutral. It will become less than benefic. That doesn't Chandragna Guru Shukranam Pravala Sottarottaram. So that dosha will be more applicable to Mercury than Moon, to Jupiter than Mercury, to Venus than Jupiter. So that the fall in strength, the fall in the ability to do good as a result of owning a quadrant is highest for Venus, then for Jupiter, then for Mercury, and finally for Moon. Kendra Konapati Syatam Parasparagrahopagau Ekabhedau Sitau Vapi Ekabhenyatarasthitah Purna Drushyekshitau Vapi Mitho Yogakarau Tada Yogesmin Jayate Bhupo Vikyato Vajano Bhave. Kendra Konapati Syatam. Kendra Konapati Syatam. Kendra Konapati means lords of Kendra and Kona. Quadrant lord and a trine lord. Syatam. Should they be Paraspara Gruhopagau means they should be in mutual houses. They should be in mutual houses means quadrant lord in trine lord's house, trine lord in quadrant lord's house. This is an exchange of houses. Ekabhedau Sitau Vapi, or they are both situated in the same sign. They are either exchanging signs or situated in the same sign. Ekabhedau Sitau Vapi, they are basically in the same house. Vapi or Ekabhedau Sitau Vapi Ekabhenyatarasthitah. Okay, so either they are together in one of those two houses that are owned by them, or they are together in some other house. So he is specifically mentioning as though there is a difference between them. We normally say Rajoga irrespective of where they are, but he seems to be distinguishing between where they are. So if one of the planets is in one house, let's say 9th lord and 10th lord are together in 9th or 10th, it's more powerful. So that he is mentioning that first, and then he is saying, or even if they are in any other house. The way he said it suggests that there is a difference in the quality of the Rajoga based on that. So if they are either in exchanging houses or in the same house, one of the two houses, or in some other house they are together in the same sign, in some other sign, but in the same sign both together. Then what is the result? Purna Drushyekshitau Vapi Mitho Yogakarau Tada. Purna Drushyekshitau Vapi Mitho Yogakarau Tada. Or they are aspecting each other with full aspect. Of course, you hardly get full aspect. By full aspect we mean close to full aspect. So if two planets are aspecting each other with full aspect, or mitho, later he is saying Vapi mitho, or even partial aspect. So he is saying either full aspect or even partial aspect. So bottom line is, if it is full aspect, both aspecting each other very fully, then the result is much bigger. If they are aspecting medium, not fully but partially, then the result is lower. Tada, then, Yogesmin Jayate Bhupo Vikyato Vajano Bhave. Yogesmin Jayate. Whoever is born in a combination like this, Bhupo Vikyato Vajano Bhave. Bhupaha means king, one who rules earth, rules land, landlord or king. Vikyato Vajano Bhave. Vikyataha means famous, very well known. Khyata means popular, Vikhyata means particularly well known. So Vikhyato Vajano Bhave. He is either a king or particularly famous person. So this is a yoga for success and fame. It's a Rajoga basically. We call it a Rajoga. 90 quadrant lord and trine lord being together or aspecting each other or exchanging houses. Kone Shatve Adaikasya Kendre Shatvam Jajayate Kendre Kone Shado Vasau Visheshabdyogakarakaha. Kone Shatve Adaikasya Kendre Shatvam Jajayate. Kone Shatve Adaikasya. Yada is Ekasya for one planet. Kone Shatve, apart from trine lordship, Kendriya Shatvam Jayate. Quadrant lordship also happens. In other words, the same planet owns a quadrant and a trine and a quadrant. Kendre Kone Shado Vasau, Kendre Kone Shado Vasau, Visheshabdyogakarakaha. Or if the planet is in a Kendra or Kona. If a planet owns both quadrant and trine, or if a planet is in Kendra or Kona. So then the planet becomes Visheshat Yogarka. The planet becomes particularly Yogarka. Particularly, it gives yoga. It gives good combination. Now the thing is, not every planet who is in Kendra or Kona will become a Yogarka. So what he said in the first line is, if Kendra Lord and Kona, if a planet gets lordship of Kendra as well as Kona, then it's Yogarka. In the next verse he is saying, or by being in a Kendra or Kona also. So you have to take it in the context. So it's not just being in a Kendra or Kona. What it means is a Kendra Lord being in Kona or a Kona Lord being in Kendra. So basically in terms of ownership or occupancy, if a planet is associated both with Kendra and Kona, then it becomes Yogarka. That's the definition. So standard definition we hear in other texts, non-Parasara texts is, if a planet owns both Kendra and Kona, it becomes Yogarka. But Parasara is not saying just that. He is saying owning Kendra and Kona, or Kendra Lord in Kona or Kona Lord in Kendra. Clearly he is saying that. So his definition is more generic than other people's definition. So there may be certain Yogarkas you can define based on the Lagna. Certain Yogarkas you can only see based on the horoscope. When you see the horoscope, you know whether a planet is Yogarka or not. For example, if you see, as an example, actually we'll do examples later. Kendre Satvena Papanam Yaprokta Subhakarita. Kendre Satvena Papanam Yaprokta Subhakarita. Satrikonaधिपत्येपि न केन्द्रे सत्वमात्रतः केन्द्रे सत्वेन पापानां याप्रोक्ता शुभकारिता. By owning a quadrant for male pigs, whatever ability to do Shubha was mentioned earlier. Basically earlier he said a male pig, even if he owns Kendra, he doesn't become male pig, which means he didn't say whether they will be auspicious or neutral. We basically concluded they are neutral. Here he is clarifying further. He is saying, if a male pig planet, natural male pig planet owns Kendra, then the ability to do auspicious things that we mentioned earlier, that Sat Trikonadhipatyepi na Kendre Sattvamatratha. That comes if the planet also owns Trikona, not just by owning the Kendra. So in other words, a male pig, if he owns a Kendra, he doesn't become Shubha automatically. He becomes Shubha if he also owns a Trikona. So bottom line is, ownership of Kendra is a neutral blessing even for male pig planets. It's either neutral or slightly better than neutral, but it's in the range of neutral. It's not auspicious. In order to become auspicious, the planet also needs to be trine lord. Okay. On the other hand, if a planet owns 6th house as well as a trine, it becomes neutral. 6th is bad, trine is good, it cancels. Whereas if it is owning Kendra and Kona, Kendra doesn't cancel Kona. Kona is good, Kendra is neutral, so overall it is still good. Next one is Kendra Konadhi Paveva. Pau Eva. Kendra Konadhi Paveva Papasthanadhi Pau Yada. Tayo Sambandha Matrena Nayogam Lakate Naraha. Kendra Konadhi Pau Eva Papasthanadhi Pau Yada. Tayo Sambandha Matrena Nayogam Lakate Naraha. Kendra Konadhi Pau Eva. If the planets owning a Kendra and Kona, Papasthanadhi Pau Yada, they also own male pig houses. Tayo Sambandha Matrena Nayogam Lakate Naraha. Just by their yoga. Yoga meaning either conjunction or aspecting each other or exchanging houses. Nayogam Lakate Naraha. There is no real yoga. So the thing is, if a Kendra Lord and Trine Lord are together, we say Rajoga, right? He's saying if those planets, one of the planets also owns male pig houses, then the Rajoga doesn't really apply.
So if a Kendra Lord
Not Kendra Lord. Yeah, right. For Kendra Lord as well as Trine Lord. So if a planet owns, let's say, let me give an example. Suppose somebody has Virgo Lagna. Saturn is the 5th Lord and 6th Lord. So suppose Saturn is together with Jupiter. Right? Jupiter is the 4th and 7th Lord. He is a quadrant Lord. But Saturn is not only the 5th Lord, he is also 6th Lord. So he is a neutral planet. So you can't really say a Kona Lord and a quadrant Lord are together. Bottom line is a quadrant Lord is with a neutral planet. So it's not really a Raj Yoga. On the other hand, if Mercury and Venus are together, Venus owns second house and ninth house. Second is neutral and ninth is trine. So he is an auspicious planet. And Mercury is Lagna Lord and 10th Lord. He is a quadrant Lord. He doesn't have any ownership of a malefic house. He is neutral. He is not spoiled by owning a 6th house or 3rd house or 11th house. So that Rajoga counts as a Rajoga. But Jupiter-Saturn combination would not really count as a Rajoga. So it's giving some modifications on yogas have been modeled. These things are not normally considered by people. The next verse is यद्भावेश युतौ वापि यद्यद्भावसमागतौ तत्तत्फलानि प्रबलौ छन्दस् इस् ब्रोकन् तत्तत्फलानि प्रबलौ प्रदिशेतां तमोप्रहौ तमोग्रहौ नाट् प्रवहौ श्रीग्रहौ तमोग्रहौ ओके यद्भावेश युतौ वापि यद्यद्भावसमागतौ तत्तत्फलानि प्रबलौ Pradhisetam tamograho. Now he is talking about tamograho, means the two tamasic planets, the two dark planets. Basically, they are not really planets. They are not. Planets are normally light. Planets are the ones that reflect light, right? That is grahas. Whereas this tamas means darkness. These dark planets don't really reflect light from anywhere. These are absence of light. These are like the mathematical points. That's what we mean by tamograho. Moreover, they are tamasic planets. So Rahu and Ketu, he is talking about them. Yadbhavesha yutau vapi. Whichever lords they are with. So to judge their ability, you have to see who they are with. Are they with Moon, Sun, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury? See that. Yadbhavesha yutau vapi. Who they are with. Yadyad bhava samagatau. Whichever houses they are occupying. Tattat phalani prabhalau. Those results are given based on the strength. Prabhalau means stronger ones. So out of those results, the stronger ones are pradhisetau tamograho, are indicated by Rahu and Ketu. So to see whether Rahu and Ketu are benefic or malefic for a person, he is not saying use Aquarius and Scorpio and see which houses they own. They also own those houses for certain other purposes, certain other bookkeeping. But in terms of ownership, in terms of agenda of a planet, Supagraha or Papagraha, he is suggesting, see where they are and who they are with. And based on that decide. See, for example, in my chart, Rahu is with Moon in Aquarius. I have Virgo Lagna, Moon and Rahu in the 6th house. So Rahu is in the 6th house and he is with Moon, who is the 11th Lord. So Rahu is a malefic. He is a functional malefic. He is a Papagraha for me. And in Ketu is in the 12th house. 12th is a neutral house. 2, 8 and 12 are neutral houses. And is he with anybody? He is not with anybody. So he is a neutral planet. Ketu is a neutral planet and Rahu is a malefic planet. So this is how you judge in the case of Rahu and Ketu, whether they are malefics or malefics. And you can do this in the Rashi chart as well as various divisional charts. Okay? यदि केंद्रे त्रिकोणे वा निवसेतां तमोग्रहौ नाथेनान्यतरेणाढ्यौ दुष्टौ वा योगकारकौ यदि केंद्रे त्रिकोणे वा निवसेतां तमोग्रहौ यदि केंद्रे यदि means if केंद्रे त्रिकोणे वा means in a quadrant or an angle nivasetam tamograho nivasetam tamograho nivasetam means they live is a generic word, basically situated, placed. They are placed in a kendra or trikona. Nathen anyatarena adhyo drushto va yogarako. Wow. Nathen anyatarena adhyo drushto va yogarako. If they are together with Nathena Anyatarena, the other kind of Lord, Adhyo Drishtova, They are either conjoined or aspected. So basically, in terms of conjunction or aspect, they have a relation with a planet who owns the other kind of house. So in other words, let's say Rahu is in 4th house and he is aspected, he has an aspect with the 5th lord, or he is with the 5th lord there. Then Rahu becomes Yogarka. Basically, Rahu, he will behave as though he is the lord of the house where he is. Basically, he behaves like the planet he is with and the house that he is in. So if he is in the 4th house, forget what house Rahu wants. He will behave as though he is 4th lord. So simply by being in the 4th house, if he associates with the 5th lord, he gives the 4th and 5th conjunction yoga. The 4th, 5th Raj Yoga will be given. Suppose Rahu is in the 10th house in a chart. Rahu is in the 10th house and he has a link with the 9th lord. Dharma Karmadipati Yoga is given by the Rahu and the other planet.
A link with respect to aspect?
Conjunction or aspect, that's what Parasya said. Okay? So, in terms of Yogarkas, whatever we said for other planets applies to Rahu and Ketu in a different way. So forget about Aquarius and Scorpio owned by Rahu and Ketu and use these criteria if you want to judge the nature of Rahu and Ketu.
Some people take, when they give readings,
Yeah.
when they see Ketu or
Yeah.
Rahu's Dasa,
Yeah.
they basically say it is nothing but the owner of that particular house giving the results. The
Right.
particular house is results.
Right. Because if he is behaving like the owner, then basically, but the thing is, there is a subtle difference. Let's say Rahu is in the 10th house, okay, and he is in a yoga with 9th lord. So Rahu is Yogarka along with the 9th lord and he is giving Raj Yoga. On the other hand, the 10th lord, he may be in the 8th house, associated with the 8th lord or 6th lord. So he may be giving a Duryoga. So his Dasa may not give great results. But Rahu, his Dasa may give good results. So bottom line is, don't just forget about Rahu and look at the Lord of the house and see how he is and then give results. That's not what Parasya is saying. That is what some people do. What Parasya is saying is, treat him as though he is the Lord of that house, and it's basically like if you have a mafia person, wherever he is, he owns that place. He's not like he is renting or he is temporarily there. He behaves as though he owns that place. He goes to a house, he does kabja. Sorry to those who don't know this word, those who have listened to the MP3. Kabja meaning occupying something. Occupying somebody else's property and making it your own. So Rahu and Ketu are basically like that. They are like the mafia people. Self-declared owners of wherever they are. That is the nature of Rahu and Ketu. कस्मिन् लग्ने प्रजातस्य के ग्रहा योगकारकाः के च शुभप्रदाः खेटाः कृपया वद मे मुने. कस्मिन् लग्ने प्रजातस्य, in whatever lagna, in what lagna प्रजातस्य, for people born in which lagna, के ग्रहा, which grahas, yogakarakaः or yogakarkas, के च अशुभप्रदाः, and who are inauspicious, खेटाः, planets, कृपया, kindly, वद मे मुने, O sage, please tell me. So Maitreya is asking, even though the general guidelines have been given, they are confusing enough. So even though he was a smart person, Maitreya was humble enough to ask, I am a little confused, please clarify. For each lagna, tell me who are your karkas and who are the inauspicious planets. So Parasara will give the list later. So we will do it in the next class. We will stop here. So remember, we finished 18. We finished verse 18. We have to start with 19. 19 in chapter 34. Stop the recording. This is the data.
I have one newborn baby.
Okay, is there any specific question?
The question is, the baby, like they have shown to some astrologer.
Yeah.
The baby, the lagna is
From the border.
not the border. I mean, they kind of is lagna is Scorpio lagna, and the lagna lord, one lagna lord is in 8,000, one lagna in 12th lord.
Okay.
They kind of respect some. Brother, for last 5 years he doesn't have a job.
Last 5 years?
He doesn't have a job, solid job. So
Oh, okay. Give me the data.
it's October 21.
October?
21.
21
1966
1966
5:15 a.m.
5:15 a.m.
5:30 East of GMT.
Yeah,
For the tour India.
for the tour. Okay. How should I save it? Huh?
Murali.
Murali Mitnala. Okay. So the data is 1966, October 21, 5:15 a.m. This is unrectified, right?
I looked some of the...
And you are happy.
Yeah.
Okay. 5:15 a.m. This is we did not rectify it, but Ramakrishna Rao is happy with it. So 5:15 a.m. Indian Standard Time, 5 hours 30 minutes east of GMT. The place is Pradhatur, India. Pradhatur. 78 degrees 33 minutes east, 14 degrees 44 minutes north. So Lagna should be 20 degrees Virgo and moon should be at 1 degree 7 minutes Capricorn. Okay.
He was born on Durgastami.
He was born on Durgastami. Oh, his birthday is coming up soon. Okay. Okay. So what is the problem in this chart? So you said he doesn't have a job for the last 5 years. Before that, did he have a job?
Yeah,
Did he have a okay career until then, or did he have an unstable career?
All the time, no, like he...
Unstable career.
Unstable. Like he must have jumped 10 jobs.
Okay, unstable career, jumped 10 jobs.
He did the MSc in agriculture.
MSc in agriculture.
He
Okay.
started as agricultural engineer and ended up in somewhere.
Somewhere meaning where? Somewhere is very generic.
Software, sales. Like
Okay, agriculture engineer, turned software, turned sales.
Yeah.
Okay. And jobless for 5 years, you said. Okay. And when are we typing this? After 2010. Okay. So he had an unstable career. He jumped about 10 jobs. He did MSc, Master of Science in Agriculture, and then he started as an agricultural engineer, but he later went into software and he turned to sales. Basically, he tried several things and he didn't have a good career so far, and he has been jobless for the last 5 years. Let's see if it makes any sense at all. Now before we go to Dashamsha, are there any afflictions? Is there any justification for this kind of instability in the career? Do you see anything in the Rashi chart itself? Is Rashi chart smooth or is there some problem? Any affliction?
Actually, ninth lord is in Lagna. Actually.
Yeah, ninth lord is in Lagna, that is good. Ninth lord in Lagna, he is debilitated, but still ninth lord in Lagna is a blessing. So, what is the problem with career? Why is career problematic?
We need to look at the 10th house.
Yeah, look at the 10th house. Just, we'll go to Dashamsha also. There must be something terrible in Dashamsha. But even in Rashi, some problem has to be there. Right? So, in Rashi, how is the 10th house? 10th house in Rashi. 10th house is empty, right? There is no aspect really, there isn't any aspect on it also. Nobody is aspecting it, it's just empty. So look at the Lord of the house. Right? Look at the Lord of the house. And where is the, how is the 10th Lord? He is in the second house, right? That's not bad. But does he have any affliction? Does the 10th Lord have any affliction?
Kavi who
Hmm?
is with the 12th lord.
Yeah, he is with 12th Lord's sun, but they are far apart. Sun is really far from Mercury. Mercury is at 27 degrees and Sun is at 4 degrees. They are 23 degrees apart. It's not a big affliction. What else? He is affected by Ketu.
Ketu.
That is a much closer affliction. Ketu is at 23 degrees, Mercury is at 27 degrees. So, within within 4 degrees. Within 4 degrees, Ketu is affecting Mercury. So, and Ketu, what is the house he wants? Third house. Is third house good for career? As far as career is concerned, third house is an inauspicious house. Basically, taking the 10th house of work as the Lagna, Ketu is the 6th lord of obstacles, right? Enmities, fighting, etc. So, Lagna lord is with the 6th lord, as far as the 10th house is concerned. So, that is basically a bad combination. So, Ketu is the key. As far as Rashi chart is concerned, for instability in the career, Ketu is the key. Now, let us go to the Dashamsha. Are we confident of the time? Let's see how much leeway we have. 8 degree 27 minutes earlier, 8 minutes 27 seconds earlier, 3 minutes 51 seconds later, Lagna will change in the Samsa. So given if you assume that this time could not have been more than 3 minutes 50 seconds wrong, assuming that this within that window, the Samsa Lagna is reliable. So let's assume that it is within 3.5 degrees. So, oh gosh, okay. Look, look at the Dashamsha Lagna. How is the Dashamsha Lagna?
So what is that Ashtagraha Kota means? Something they say like there are 8 graphs.
Yeah, that Ashtagraha Kota is 8 planets being in the same sign in the Rashi chart physically. Yeah. Anyway, here in the Dashamsha, Lagna is Scorpio. And who are in Scorpio? Sun, Rahu, Mars, right? Sun, Rahu, Mars and Saturn. Out of them, who's closest to Sun? See, Sun is the 10th lord, right? In general, Sun is Karka for success in career and all those things. And especially here, he is the 10th lord. And he's in a friendly sign. So far, so good. He's in a friendly sign. But he is very close to Saturn. Sun is at 7 degrees. If you look at the D10 longitude in Dashamsha, Sun is at 7 degrees 37 minutes and Saturn is at 6 degrees 46 minutes. So less than a degree. Sun and Saturn are less than a degree in Dashamsha. And of course, the other planet Rahu is also in the same sign. Actually, Mars is also there, but Mars is in the first house. If you look at houses, Lagna longitude is at 20 degrees. So Mars is in the first house. Of course, if time is off by a few minutes forward, Mars also could be in the 12th house. But let's assume Lagna is Scorpio, Mars is in the first house, but Sun, Saturn and Rahu are in the 12th house. Rahu could be on the border, but Saturn is Pakka in the 12th house. So Sun and the 10th Lord Sun is in the 12th house in Manakaraka Sthana. And he is with enemy Saturn. Not only is he enemy, he is the third Lord. Third Lord shows, again earlier like I said, taking the 10th house as Lagna, third Lord is basically the 6th Lord from 10th house. He shows obstacles in career. That is why third house is the house of leaves, breaks, etc. Right? It's good for business, but it's not good for working somewhere. So the bottom line is, and moreover, is Saturn a malefic? Let's apply what we learned just now. Is Saturn a malefic or benefic in the Samsa? Third and fourth Lord. Fourth is neutral, third is malefic. So overall he is a malefic planet. So a quadrant Lord, who is basically a neutral planet, is with a malefic planet. And moreover they are worst enemies. Moreover Sun is in Manakaraka Sthana. This is a terrible Dasamsa. With this Dasamsa, it's very unlikely that you will have any kind of stable career. So it's not surprising that he is having eating problems in his career, so many years after his career started. So, moreover, there are so many influences on Sun. Saturn, Rahu, he is in Scorpio. So he may try so many different things. Scorpio could show engineering, Saturn could show agriculture. So there are so many, Rahu could show heavy machinery. There are so many different things. And there is Scorpio. So based on all these things, the key is who should he really propitiate? Yeah, Sun can be propitiated. Rahu is far away from Sun. So Rahu's affliction is not that bad. Right? So Saturn's affliction is the worst. Moreover, Sun himself is weak. Suppose you worship Saturn. So Saturn will say, okay, I will not bother Sun. Let him have fun. Let him give whatever he wants to give. I won't come and poke him. Fine. Will Sun himself give good results in this chart? Even though he's in a friendly sign, he's in the 12th house, house-wise. So 10th Lord in the 12th house, he himself is not really well placed. So you really need to propitiate Sun. Saturn propitiation is not enough. So Sun. So for Sun, what should you do? Any Surya Mantra. Aditya Hridayam is a very powerful prayer. You can do Veda Mantra of Sun also, Akrishna and Rajasa Vartmana, that one. But the thing is, usually people can't do Veda Mantras so well these days. So the best will be a Puranic mantra like Aditya Hridayam. So listen to Aditya Hridayam, get it by heart, chant it a few times every day. Every day read it 3 times. That will only take 10 minutes maximum. So read Aditya Hridayam every day 3 times. That will be a recommendation. The other thing is Om Ghunish Surya Aditya Om. So that mantra, Om Ghunish Surya Aditya, that's the mantra. You can add Om at the end. So that's known as the Ashtakshari mantra of Sun, given by Manu. So that is a powerful mantra. That can also be read.
In D1,
But then,
in D1 Sun was the 12th house, sir. Would that...
In D, well, yes, we'll come to that. So his point is in D1, Sun was the 12th house. So what is the meaning of it? See, physically, if you look physically, Rashi is the chart of physical existence. And Sun is the Lord of 12th house. So what does it mean? It means something relating to feet, or something relating to a faraway country, or something relating to giving something physically, sacrificing something physically. So that is what Sun represents at the physical level. And that planet owns the house of career in the chart of career. So I think his career may have to do with his life. Of course, normally people don't have a career relating to their feet, but career may have something to do with their feet, or a faraway place. Going to a faraway place is a possibility. So bottom line is, if the person stays where he is, it's difficult to prosper. If he goes to a faraway place, from Pradhatur, maybe go to Delhi or Calcutta or US, like that, UK, then there is a better chance of success. So either career has to do with the 12th house matter, one 12th house matter or the other. It better be staying in a faraway country rather than sacrificing and giving up. 12th house is also compromising, giving up, sacrifice, all those things, right? Losses. So right now what may be fructifying is that losses, sacrifices, giving up, not having motivation, all those things are 12th house. See, 12th house is the house of moksha, right? Moksha is being contented. 12th house is by the also the house of absolute contentment. Not getting what you want, that is 11th house. Whether you get what you want or not, you are contented. So basically, lack of motivation, to use another word. So all those things may be plaguing the person. That is the meaning of the same planet one.
Still, I was trying to figure out what field he can.
What field?
Because so many mixed planets.
Yeah. Yeah. What field will be good for him? Tell me. What do you think? What will be a good field for him? Are there any aspects on the 10th house?
In the Rashi chart.
D10.
Yeah, in the D10. Let's stick to D10 now. Rashi we just offer overall. Is there any weakness at all? That's it. All specific we will see from the Samsa. Okay.
And from one was Shukra, sir.
So Venus has 99% aspect on 10th house. In the Dashamsa, if you look at the planetary aspect evaluation in the Dashamsa, Venus on the 10th house you see, Venus has 99% aspect and Saturn has 89% aspect. So Venus and Saturn have a powerful aspect. And moreover, Saturn is also with the 10th Lord Sun. So Saturn is with the 10th Lord and having a very powerful aspect, 89% aspect on the 10th house. So Saturn is one key planet who controls the career. Okay? Saturn is one planet. And the other planet is Venus. Now, what kind of career is likely? See, Lagna Lord, one Lagna Lord, Mars is a Lagna itself. And Mars is a planet of enterprise. The other Lagna Lord, Ketu, is in the 7th house of business. He is on the border actually. He could be in the 6th or 7th house, but he may be in the 7th house. And moreover, 7th Lord Venus is powerfully aspecting 10th house. 7th Lord Venus. So 7th Lord Venus shows either business or dealing with other people. So he needs a career where he doesn't just sit at a desk and just do work, but he goes and talks to people, interacts with people, or so it could be either business or things like marketing, sales, that kind of things, because of the 7th house influence. And let's look at the Amsha rulers. You said Mercury is in Ananta, okay. What else? Where is Sun? Sun is the important one. Sun is in Agni Amsha. Sun is in Scorpio, he is in Agni Amsha. That shows engineering. And Mars is a very powerful planet. He is the Lagna Lord in Lagna, shows the attitude in career. He is in Niriti Samsya. What does Niriti Samsya show? Niriti is the forbidden planet, the forbidden Deva basically. He is the demon who became God. So, Niriti Samsya shows things that are not respecting boundaries, things that are breaking barriers. So it could be either cutting edge things or it could be slightly illegal things. So bottom line is, but the Lagna Lord, we are not talking about the career here, the 10th Lord. We are talking about Lagna Lord. Lagna Lord shows your basic attitude in career. So his basic attitude is, let's do something. He may or may not respect, respect rules, etc. He may be willing to compromise on rules and he may be willing to break the barriers. Anyway, go.
Not because he was not regular.
He was not?
Regular.
I see. Then, Venus is in Indramsha. Okay. Let's go back to the aspects. What the hell is he running by there?
Jupiter.
Oh, he's running Jupiter Dasha. He is running Jupiter Dasha.
Jupiter Saturn is very low.
Okay. And how is Jupiter in the Dashamsha?
The camera, Jupiter.
How is Jupiter in the Dashamsha? Which house is he in?
He's in the 8th house.
He's in the 7th house. House-wise. So Jupiter is in the 7th house in the Dashamsha, right?
Yeah.
So again, a planet in the 7th house. A planet in the 7th house is closely affecting 10th house. And the Dasha Lord right now is a planet in the 10th house. A planet in the 7th house. So 7th house is strong right now. Moreover, Jupiter is actually a Yokarka. Because he is the trine Lord in a quadrant. So based on what Parasura taught, for Dashamsha he is a Yokarka, Jupiter. So, what can we suggest? And right now Jupiter Saturn Dasha is running. After that Jupiter Mercury will come, that is not good. But Jupiter Ketu will come, that is also not that good. Jupiter Venus will be good for him. Jupiter Venus Dasha. But one thing he can suggest, he can try is, usually people who don't succeed in career in other ways, it's difficult for them to succeed in business. But the thing is, this guy won't be very successful in career because of the basic weakness in Lagna involving the 10th Lord. Sun is so weak. He will never be super successful, but whatever little success he has, he is likely to come in some kind of venture, some kind of business venture than a regular job. So either have a small business venture, don't take a huge risk. Make it a very small, modest, not overly ambitious kind of business. So something where he is self-employed and he doesn't have times, you have to work at this time, that like that, and he can basically go and talk to people. Bottom line is, he needs to be in a business where he is not designing things, but he is going and talking to people. So marketing, sales, and some kind of self-employment. These are the basic lines. And then in what areas? Even though Jupiter Dasha is running right now, I will look at Venus because Venus is so powerful. He has the strongest influence on 10th house. Why am I looking at aspect? Because you would look at the planets in the house or Lord, if they are strong. There is no planet in the house and the Lord is so weak. So instead of looking at career, a successful career from a weak 10th Lord, I will see the planet aspecting 10th house. So Venus is a neutral planet for this chart. And he is in a friendly house. He is actually in an Adhimitra Rashi, a good friend's house. So he is basically strong in this chart. And he is a dispositor of another Lagna Lord. One of the Lagna Lords, he is a dispositor. Actually the stronger Lagna Lord, he is a dispositor of him. So he is a key planet. And in the Rashi chart, he shows fortune. He is the 9th Lord. So because of those reasons, I am interested in Venus. And in a few years, his Antardasha is coming. So I am interested in Venus. And he has almost 100% aspect on 10th house, 99%, 98.89%. So I'm very interested in Venus. So I will say, what kind of career will Venus suggest?
Art.
It can be relating to arts or things of art. Basically doing some kind of business with artistic things or some kind of crafts.
Fluent speaking is Venus. Fluent speaking is...
It's not necessarily associated with Venus, but mostly arts, poetry, arts, all these things are associated with Venus. Also interior design, this kind of things are associated with Venus. So, and another thing is management is associated with Venus, micromanagement, project management kind of things. So, my feeling is this Venus is in Saturn house, he's in Aquarius. Venus is in a Saturnine house. So, he's not really showing hardcore arts, etc. Aquarius is a slightly either philosophical sign or it's a sign of work, hard work. It's a sign owned by Saturn.
Psychology related. Aquarius is psychology.
Aquarius is also philosophy and psychology.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, this Venus.
He is not a psychologist.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting psychology. We are still thinking, we are still brainstorming. So, Venus is in Aquarius. Aquarius is owned by Saturn. It can also show things like agriculture, etc. But the thing is, what can Venus show there? That's what I'm thinking. So, some small business in the field of,
Herbs.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Venus can show herbs. So, it can maybe dealing with some kind of herbs or some kind of special plants, special or decorative plants, or agriculture relating to decorative plants, etc. Basically, landscaping, something relating to landscaping. This kind of things. Give it some thought. Basically, something relating to beauty, something relating to good taste, at the same time relating to agriculture because it has a background in it. And moreover, this is Aquarius, a Saturnine sign. Saturn is associated with agriculture. So, and Saturn is the other planet owning 10th, aspecting 10th house. Saturn 89%, Venus 99%. So, combining, and Venus is in a Saturnine sign. Combining those, something relating to agriculture but having to do with good taste. So, give it some thought. But the thing is, very likely some kind of own business or some kind of consulting, that kind of thing. So, that may be a slightly better area for him than software engineering or software sales. Software sales doesn't really show up here. So he should forget about software, even though that's hard. He's not hard in that. So he should focus on his roots. And the most important thing is, without some propitiation of Sun, nothing is going to happen. Neither Jupiter nor Venus can do anything if the 10th Lord continues to be hammered. So start doing Alchemy every day 3 times. And maybe after he does it for a year or so, maybe there will be some significant change starting to happen in his career. Okay? So it's very important that he does propitiation. So Alchemy. And another thing is, when he has nothing to do, instead of thinking of something, he can just do Om Hri Surya Aditya Om, Om Hri Surya Aditya Om, or simply Om Sum Suryaya Namah, Om Sum Suryaya Namah. So pick a mantra, very simple mantra. Have Aditya Hrim, which you read 3 times every day. In addition, pick a simple mantra, which you can do all the time. The power of simple mantras is you can do all the time. Even when I'm sitting, eating my lunch or listening to somebody's lecture, still at the back of my mind I can be repeating my mantra. So if you start doing with any mantra, that mantra will really start giving results to you. It will really save you. That is the purpose of a mantra. It should be resonating in your mind all the time. It should be reverberating in your mind all the time or most times. Then a mantra will really start working for you. So pick either Om Sum Suryaya Namah or Om Hri Surya Aditya, one of the 2 mantras, and then do Aditya Hridayam 3 times every day. That will be key, doing Aditya Hridayam. Any other questions or comments on this chart? Anything else you want to say?
I mean, he recently down with the, of course,
Down with?
Psychological depression.
Yeah.
Common.
So he was recently having some psychological problems.
Yeah, he was admitted and all this stuff.
He was what?
He was admitted in the hospital.
Hospital for depression?
Yes.
Okay.
And why Jupiter Dasha gave all this?
Well, Jupiter is the sixth, Jupiter is the Bhataka Lord, and he is the dispositor of the sixth Lord in the Rashi chart. In the Rashi chart of physical body, he is the Bhataka Lord, so he can give some unexpected trouble to the body, and he is the dispositor of the sixth Lord, right?
Right.
So, because of those reasons, he can give some problems in the health. And let's see the key is, let's check out Shashtamsha and Trimshamsha. As far as Shashtamsha is concerned, you can say some bad things, but I don't see anything particularly bad, so I'll leave Shashtamsha. Let's go to Trimshamsha, D30. Okay. In D30, how is Jupiter? In D30, tell me. He is third lord and 12th lord, and he is in the 9th house. Being in the 9th house is not bad, but he is the third and 12th lord. Is he a benefic or a malefic? He is a malefic. Third and 12th lord is a malefic. So he is a papagraha as far as Trimshamsha is concerned, as far as suffering is concerned. So he can give bad, his dasha can give bad results in health, mental health, etc. And as far as mental health is concerned, who is the karka for mind? Moon. Right. So from moon, how is Jupiter? Actually moon, how is moon? Are there combinations of depression here? Moon is in the same sign as Saturn. Right? Moon is in the same sign as Saturn. Even though there is distance between them, he is in the same sign as Saturn. Basically in the first house from moon, Saturn is there in Manakarka Sthana. So that can show depression. Right? That is one thing. The other thing is,
We have seen many charts where Saturn
yeah,
can give
moon Saturn combination gives depression. Moon Mars combination gives anger, etc. Anger management, irritability and anger management. Okay, so Moon Saturn combination is there, so there is some proneness of depression, and that will be particularly when Saturn under Dasha comes, you should be particularly careful. Okay, and actually when is Saturn under Dasha? Oh, it's over. Oh, it got over recently.
Yeah, that time only.
That time only he got. Okay, that makes sense. So Moon Saturn under Dasha, he was in depression, but in general Jupiter himself is bad for mind. Why? Mental happiness. Why? Take Moon as Lagna in Trimshamsha. How is Jupiter? Is he a good planet or a bad planet? Taking Moon in Taurus as Lagna, he is the 8th and 11th lord. So he is a malefic not only from Lagna, but also from Moon. So bottom line is, he is not for mental strength, he is not a good planet. He will test the mind. He will basically give testing times to the mind. Okay. So Jupiter Dasha in general is, there is some concern in Jupiter Dasha, and Saturn Dasha was particularly good, and Mercury Dasha, as far as mental problems is concerned, Mercury is okay. He is in the 6th house, but he is the 5th lord. So he is okay. So all depression, etc., Saturn was the peak, Mercury will be much lower. So this is a relatively, the sign that started recently and which will last another couple of years is actually quite okay. So there is nothing to be concerned about. Venus will be much better. But do we see any serious problems in Jupiter Dasha? Not really. Jupiter is the third and from Lagna, forget Moon now, just Lagna in Trimshamsha. Third and 12th lord in 9th house. He is bad, but the thing is, he's not like he's so mad at you that he wants to kill you or something. He gives you, he's not running after you basically. He's not associated with the 8th house or 6th house. So it's not that bad. Being the 12th lord, he can give some hospitalization, but nothing really serious that stands out, like suddenly being diagnosed with a cancer. That kind of things don't really seem likely in the Jupiter Dasha at least. So nothing really to be concerned about as far as health is concerned. And in general, Sun is the karka for good health. So if somebody is reading Aditya Hridayam, irrespective of what Lagna, how is the chart, health will be basically good. So Aditya Hridayam should help from various angles. So you should really start doing Aditya Hridayam as many times as you can, at least 3 times. Any other questions or comments?
Actually, I asked him to read the Sai Saksharita because I saw the Jupiter.
Because Jupiter Dasha is running. Good. That can be done too. Jupiter Dasha is running, so Sai or Dattatreya or Dakshinamurti, some Guru figure. Worshipping a Guru figure is a good idea. He can do it. That is not a problem. But if I have to pick one, I'll pick Sun. I have to pick one, especially focused on the career, I'll pick Sun. Any other question? Any other comments? But Jupiter as such is he wants to do good. He's the fifth lord in the Dashamsa, in the seventh house. He wants to give some kind of success in career, especially relating to business or dealing with others. So he is well disposed. Only problem is the chart itself. If I want to go and fix a house, suppose I go to a house and I go with, let's say, there is a temple. I want to donate a big idol. So I take a nice golden idol. If the temple itself doesn't have enough space for it, I can't put the idol there. So like that, Jupiter wants to do good, but the chart itself is so badly hammered with the Sun, Saturn, Rahu combination. So in the 12th house. So that's the problem. So once Sun gives some relief, he decides, okay, let me basically give some good career to this person. Then Jupiter will give some good results. Any other questions, any other comments, anything else you want to say? Anything else? Okay. You guys have any other chart you want to see?
I have my mother's chart.
Okay. Okay, we are seeing a chart 1964 January 7, 8:44 p.m. 5 hours 30 minutes east of GMT, that is IST. The place is Tadepalli Gudem. The longitude and latitude are 81 degrees 30 minutes east, 16 degrees 50 minutes north. So the Lagna should be 4 degrees 27 minutes Leo and Moon should be 3 degrees 44 minutes Libra. Okay, so what are we seeing? Health. Okay. So the question is relating to health. How is the health? And is there any background like any concerns, specific concerns right now?
She's having a lot of problems in her knees.
Knees, okay.
All of this has suddenly started up, so.
Okay.
Knees
So,
related to watery sign. Cancer or all those signs, right?
well, you can say that, but the thing is, that's a very generic statement. Problems in the knees, some people get problems in the knees because there's a lot of water accumulated.
Right.
Some people get problem in the knees because they don't have enough water, enough lubrication. They have such dry bodies and there isn't enough water. So knee problem can be because of excess kapha, excess pitta, excess vata. So nothing is off the table when you just approach a new person. So let's see what kind of constitution she has and what kind of problems she has. But the thing is, if you look at the thumb rule that we had earlier, the house owned by the sixth lord and the sign owned by the eighth lord. If we see like that, we don't really see any problem here. So, which house shows knees? What is the house to show knees in the physical Rashi chart? Do you guys remember for knees? Lagna is head, second house is face, third house is neck and throat, and fourth house is heart, and third house is also part of lungs, and fourth house is neck, fifth house is stomach, the digestive system, upper stomach, and sixth house is the lower stomach, liver, all these parts, and the seventh house is kidneys, all those parts, the internal parts further down, and eighth house is the hidden parts, the genitals, buttocks, etc. And ninth house is thighs, 10th house is knees and calves, and the 11th house is ankles, the lower calves and the ankles, and the 12th house is feet. So this is basically how the body is divided into various parts and mapped to various houses, right? So, is there a problem relating to the 10th? 10th is knees. So if there is some knee problem, there has to be some weakness associated with the 10th lord or 10th house. Otherwise it's unlikely. Is there any problem with the 10th house or 10th lord? Tell me. Any occupants of the 10th house? Nobody. Right? Any aspects on the 10th house? Anybody aspecting the 10th house? Let's see. Oops. What I meant is this.
Some details. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to Rashi aspect, planetary aspect evaluation. The 10th house is aspected by Moon mostly. Moon has 75% aspect. That's it. Saturn has 69% aspect. So Moon and Saturn have the highest aspect on the 10th house. Moon is the 12th lord. Moon is the 12th lord. Saturn is the 6th lord in the 6th house. So that is one thing basically. So 12th and 6th lord. 12th house of hospitalization and 6th house of disease. The lords are aspecting 10th house. So that is one weakness. The other weakness is the lord is in Manakarka Sthana. The 10th lord Venus is in the 6th house of disease. Moreover, that is Manakarka Sthana for him. So when 10th lord is in the 6th house, see, if you remember the rule earlier, if the 6th lord is, depending on the house occupied by the 6th lord, we say this is the disease he will have. If 6th lord is in first house, relating to the head. If 6th lord is in the third house, relating to throat, right? That's what we did earlier. Now, that doesn't apply, but that particular rule doesn't apply, but 10th lord is in the 6th house. So maybe still relating to the 10th house. It's the reverse of the previous rule. So whichever lord is in the 6th house, relating to that house area, there can be some problem. Right? So 10th lord being in the 6th house, there can be some problem in the knee. Moreover, this planet is in Manakarka Sthana, so that is particularly bad. And what is the dasha she is running right now? She is running Saturn dasha. So the dasha running right now is Saturn, and Saturn is the 6th lord in the 6th house. He is the 6th and 7th lord. Is he benefic or malefic for Leo Lagna? He is a malefic. He owns 7th house, a neutral house, but he also owns 6th house. So he is a malefic planet. So being a malefic planet and being moreover the 6th lord and moreover aspecting the 10th house, having a 70% aspect on the 10th house, he can, and being the disposer of the 10th lord, he can give knee problems. Okay? So some kind of knee problems are possible. So what kind of knee problems do you expect based on this? Kapha, Pitta, Vata. What do you think? Venus, if Venus is the problem giver, he will give Kapha problem. But the thing is, right now it's not Venus Dasha. It may be Kapha, there may be excess Kapha also. But right now Saturn Dasha is running and problem has come in Saturn Dasha. So most likely it is Vata. And if you look at the planets there, Mars, Venus and Saturn, they are the planets there, right? Out of them, if you look at them, Saturn is the strongest. Mars is also in exaltation, but Mars is at 2 degrees. Venus is at 25 degrees, Saturn is at 27 degrees, 28 degrees. So Venus and Saturn are very close. So affliction on Venus, the 10th lord, is much stronger by Saturn than by Mars. So forget Mars. Padaka lord Mars, forget him. So Pitta is not a constraint. But overall, being a Leo Lagna person, she must be somebody with Pitta. She must be somebody with a strong Pitta. This is a physical constitution is Pitta. But what I expect is actually we will see the physical constitution later. But this particular problem relating to knees is because of Saturn mainly. So I will say 80% Vata, 20% Kapha. So there is a lot of dryness basically, like Saturn gives like arthritis, that kind of problems. The joints basically torn down, not enough lubrication in the joints, so a lot of pain in the joints. That is the condition given by Saturn. So what we need is remove excess Vata from the joints. That is basically what you need. Removal of excess vata from joints can be done by, there are several combinations, but the most popular one is called Yogaraj Gugulu. So some variation of Gugulu basically. Gugulu is a very, it's a resin, it's actually resin, very versatile medicine in Ayurveda, Gugulu. You mix it with various other things and you make Kaishori Gugulu, Yogaraj Gugulu, Tefala Gugulu, like that. You make so many different variations and they are for slightly different variations of the problem. If our analysis is right, if it's Vata which is the main problem, then Yogaraj Gugulu can be taken.
For Vata related knee issues.
It's Vata related, not just knees. It removes, Yogaraj Gugulu removes Vata from the nervomuscular system. Bottom line is, the dryness in our body is supposed to be in the colon. Similarly, the Pitta in our body is supposed to be in the stomach. The Kapha in our body, the moisture, extra moisture, is supposed to be in the lungs. That is how it's supposed to be. But what happens is, because of the wrong living habits, wrong food, etc., not having enough sleep, stress, all these reasons, what happens is, Kapha goes into other places. Pitta goes to other places. Vata goes to other places. So the dryness which is supposed to be in the colon, so that basically ends up being distributed to various parts of the body. So the nerves and the muscles, they end up getting that dryness. They are dry. The excess air goes there and they are dry. So to remove them, you basically use various herbs. So Yogaraj Gugulu will remove air from the nervomuscular system. It will make it more moist, more humid. The other thing that can be done is there are some oils like Mahanarayan Tailam. Those oils can be used to massage the knees. You can basically apply the oil, apply a lot of oil and let it soak. So when the oil gets in, it has ashwagandha and a few other important herbs which are good for Vata. Let us see the Antardasha running right now. So Venus Antardasha ran recently. That could be a very bad Antardasha because he is also the 10th Lord in the 6th house. So 6th Lord and the planet in the 6th house. So 2006 to 2009 was particularly a bad period. And right now Sun Antardasha is running. He is the Ragna Lord. So this has some, actually this is also over. Right now Moon is running. And Moon is the 12th Lord. So he doesn't really show relief from this problem. Then Mars will come. So it seems to be like this problem will persist for a while. Moreover, Saturn Dasha is running. So it's unlikely that there will be any kind of relief in the Saturn Antardasha. So this problem may continue for a while. So for relief, you can't get rid of it, but for some relief, take some Ayurvedic medicine, etc. And will it get worse? Unlikely. Even though Saturn Dasha is running, the Saturn Antardasha and the Venus Antardasha which ran earlier are the particularly bad Antardashas. The next Antardashas that are coming are not really that bad. So things may not become much worse. Now let's look at the Trimshamsa. How is, in the Trimshamsa, how are Saturn and Venus? How is Saturn? Saturn is the Bhagha Lord in Trimshamsa. So the thing is, even if he is badly placed in the Rashi chart, if he is well placed in the Trimshamsa, if he doesn't show bad things in the Trimshamsa, he won't give serious suffering. So we have to look at the Trimshamsa. In Trimshamsa, Saturn is in, he's in the 8th house. Venus is in the 7th house, but Saturn is in the 8th house. So he is the Badhaka Lord in the 8th house. Badhaka Lord in the 8th house. If there is a link between Badhaka, 8th and 6th, these three factors, it will be quite bad. So Badhaka Lord in the 8th house, that too in a very evil sign, Scorpio. Scorpio is a very evil sign. So he is a very evil sign, he is the Badhaka Lord, he is a malefic planet, he is a Papagraha, he is a Badhaka Lord, and he is in 8th house. So things are quite bad. So what can we say? So what it means is, during the Saturn Dasha, there will be serious suffering. The person will suffer very seriously. So whatever knee problem or other problems that may be visible in the Rashi chart, their magnitude will be quite intense based on the Trimshamsa. It will be a very serious problem. But again, the key is, Venus is not really standing out. It is Saturn who is standing out. Saturn is standing out, and Scorpio, that is a fiery sign. So fire and dry. So it's basically hot and dry conditions in the knee. So it's basically dryness that needs to be addressed. Now let's basically see the overall constitution, physical constitution. Go back to the planetary aspect evaluation based on D1. Planetary aspect evaluation based on D1. Okay. The Lagna is owned by, okay, very good. Lagna is owned by Sun. He is a fiery sign. Right? Lagna is owned by Sun, a fiery planet, he is a fiery sign. So fire is clearly there. Another thing is Mars has 98% aspect on Lagna. So again fire. Mars is also fire. Right? But in addition, Saturn has 94% aspect on Lagna. Venus has 92% aspect on Lagna. Right? So Venus and Saturn also have a very strong aspect. And Venus shows Kapha. Saturn shows Vata. So all the influences are there. But what about Rahu? Rahu has 100% aspect. So Saturn and Rahu are both aspecting. So because of it, because of Saturn and Rahu aspect, Vata is stronger than Kapha. So, but Pitta is even stronger. Lagna is owned by Sun in a fiery sign, Mars is aspecting, almost full aspect. So, Pitta very strong, Vata moderate, Kapha is also there. So basically she is a Tridoshic person. Some people have only one dosha dominant. Because Venus has a very strong aspect on Lagna, there is also Kapha. Now let us do one more thing. Let us look at the aspects on Lagna Lord Sun. Lagna Lord Sun is in a fiery sign and he is aspected by Moon 57%. So nothing really more than 3/4% aspect. 3/4 aspect nobody has. So let's ignore the aspect on Sun. Now let's look at Moon. What are the influences on Moon? Who is aspecting Moon? Jupiter has 86% aspect. So at the mental level, mental constitution is Kapha. Moon is mind. Mentally the constitution is Kapha, means very relatively stable or could even be lazy. So that is the constitution. But physically the constitution is very strongly Pitta Vata and some Kapha. So I will say 60-65% Pitta, 20-25% Vata and remaining Kapha. So that's basically the constitution. So mostly Pitta person, very hard body and basically likes spices but should stay away from spices and lot of dryness in the body. So hot and dry is the description of the body, not lot of moisture. So what should she do? She should stay away from spicy food. Unfortunately, such a chart very likely to love spices.
It will never stay away from.
Yeah, but this is, I'm telling you, it's poison for her.
Yes.
Unfortunately, people for whom spices are good, like Kapha people, they hate spices. They want mild food. And unfortunately for them, spices are good. And for people for whom spices are like poison, they love spices. This is how God creates people. But I'm telling her, this is a particularly strong Pitta chart. So staying away from all spice is very good for her. No chilies, no pepper. What she can have for spices in her food is dhania, jeera, somf. These are the ones. These are the three that are good for her. Dhania, the coriander seed, cumin seed and fennel seed. Mix them in equal proportions and maybe put a little cinnamon if she wants. That is okay, but that is also not that good. So stay away from cloves, stay away from pepper, stay away from chili definitely. Red chili particularly. If at all she wants to taste some chili, go for green chili but not red chili. Red chili is poison. No mustard seeds. Andhra people eat a lot of avkaya which has mustard seeds. Avkaya is a pickle made by soaking mangoes in mustard seed powder and red chili powder. Red chili is pitta, it increases heat. Mustard seed increases heat. And mango increases heat. So it's a triple pitta combination. It's terrible. It's very bad for her. So stay away from those and go for these things that I mentioned. And another thing is dhania, the dhania green, the coriander greens or cilantro as called in US. Those are very good for her. If she can make a habit of drinking buttermilk after every meal with cilantro, chopped cilantro thrown in, that will be very good for her. That is like amruta for her. But the thing is, if she is doing that and also eating a lot of avkaya in the food, it won't help. It's basically like you are taking poison and amruta together. They will cancel each other. Or poison may still remain. So stay away from spices. That is all I can say. Another thing she can try is there is a herb called licorice. It's also called yashti madhu. In the Indian stores, it may be available as Jeshk Madh. It may be or Jet Madh. It may be some variation of yashti madhu. The Sanskrit name is yashti madhu, means the stick of honey. It's basically, it looks like sticks or roots, and it looks brown, light brown in color, and if you eat it, it is very sweet. Actually, in the 70s, in Europe and Australia, they used to make chocolate with licorice instead of sugar. So it used to be used as a sugar substitute in chocolates and other sweets. And even here now in some specialty stores you can get licorice sweets. So anyway, but this is an Ayurvedic herb. It is very soothing and all the inflammation in the body. The thing is, not only dryness, there may be some inflammation. Vata shows dryness and Pitta shows inflammation, basically swelling, etc. So there may be both dryness and swelling and inflammation. So to soothe inflammation in the body, licorice is a very good herb. So licorice powder, you can get it in Indian store or just get Jet Madh powder or Jeshti Madh powder or Yashti Madhu powder or licorice powder. So get it, and get fennel seed, and one thing I can suggest is put a mix fennel seeds and licorice and water, boil it, and then basically filter it and drink the water. Let it stay for an hour, then filter it and then drink the water. Pardon me? Fennel seeds is cooling, very cooling. So fennel seed and licorice water. Huh? What?
What does it mean with seed?
What is the?
Like what is in the translation of?
Oh, translation in Telugu or Hindi we call it somf. You know somf, right?
Yeah.
The one that we eat after meal. That is fennel seeds in English. So that and licorice, that combination if you basically take with a warm water, and put a pinch of turmeric so that it's not really very cooling. Some turmeric will heat. So this thing is very cooling. So to balance it, put a pinch of turmeric. So take that as a tea basically. If you want for taste, you can put sugar. But licorice itself is sweet. So this will not taste bad. So if you take this every now and then, that will basically help. Similarly, the other thing that can be done is take Navratan oil or just sesame oil. Not Navratan, what I meant is Mahanarayan Tailam. Either Mahanarayan Tailam or sesame oil itself. What you can do is heat the oil with some licorice, some ashwagandha and some fennel seeds thrown in. Ashwagandha is anti-vata and fennel seeds and licorice are soothing. Anti-vata, anti-pitta. Basically because she has both pitta and vata, you have to use things that soothe both pitta and vata. Normally the thing is vata is cool and dry. Pitta is hot. So for decreasing hot, for pitta, what you use cool substances, cooling substances. For vata, because it is cool and dry, you give things that are heating. But the problem here is it's not just cool and dry, it is hot and dry. So the thing is you need herbs which are not really cooling, because if it is cooling then vata will be in trouble. At the same time it's not heating. So it's medium, it's neither heating nor cooling, it is neutral and it should be moisturizing. Because vata itself is dry, when heat is also joined, it is basically like you have a dry weather and in addition you have a heater running. So it becomes even drier. So when the weather is dry and you have the heater running, it becomes further dry. So you need extra moisturizer. So that's basically where I am getting at. So fennel seeds, licorice, this kind of really cooling and moisturizing things are really needed. So what you do is put some licorice and put some fennel seeds in oil, heat it, and then soak it for a few days. After it is heated, leave it for a few days. And then basically heat it again, leave it for a few days. Like that do for a few days, a week, and then filter it out, and that oil will have some fennel and licorice absorbed in it. So use that oil on the knees to massage. So that licorice and the fennel seed will get into the knees. So So this kind of relief can be used to bring some relief to the needs. And of course, and what I am saying is some tips of the iceberg. You can basically go to a proper Ayurvedic doctor, especially if they live in India, and they can help you. Okay? But the thing is, very likely, Ayurvedic doctors, the problem is they have to go through pulse and they have to detect whether it's a pitta, vata, kapha, what kind of problem it is. Based on the symptoms, you can guess to some extent, but you really need thorough diagnosis. And from astrology, we know that it's probably a vata problem with some pitta in it. What can be the propitiation for this? What propitiation can she do? What any ideas? Saturn. Saturn is the key. So Bhasti is actually Shani mantra itself. Shanno Devi Rakshtaya. That is a powerful mantra from Atharvaveda. Usually for remedies, Rigveda mantras are also good, but when Atharvaveda mantras are suggested by Rishis, they work very nicely. Atharvaveda mantras are particularly tuned for prayoga, for results. So there is an Atharvaveda mantra for Shani that is given by Parashara. Shanno Devi Rakshtaya Apo Bhavantu Pyateye Samyo Rakshtaya. I'll just chant it. Om Shanno Devi Rakshtaya Apo Bhavantu Pyateye Samyo Rakshtaya. So that is the mantra. That is the mantra from Atharvaveda for Shani. So that mantra is very, very, very useful. So that mantra can be learnt and chanted, and if the swaras are problematic and that mantra can't be chanted, then Shani is Ashtodha Sanam Stotram, Saneshta, Chantaya, Sarvabhishtapadayane, Saranyaya, Varinyaya, Sarveshaya, Namo Namaha, like that 108 names of Saturn are given. That is very powerful in Kali Yuga. The other one that can be read is Konat Saneshtra, Mandaha, Chaya, Hridayanandaraha, Matanja Sasori, Patangi Grahanayakaha, Abhyahmana, Kurakarma, Nera, Vastranjana Jyutihi, Krishno, Dhamanaja Shantaha, Shkodara, Varapradaha. These are the 16 names of Saturn. So this was mentioned in when Dasharatha goes to Saturn, in the story this is mentioned. He mentioned that if you read these 16 names, all your problems will be gone. Of course, it doesn't work so easily in Kali Yuga, but if you keep doing these names, this can be helpful. So one of these can be read. Another thing is actually, because this is a physical problem, even Kavacha can be helpful. Shani Kavacham. So either Shani Kavacham or Shani Ashtottaram or Shani Shodhanama Stotram. You can actually go to my website vedikastrology.org/homam or tinyurl.com/homam. You can go there and you can download Saturn Shani Homam manual. In the manual there are several options given. For Shani Homam, for the main course, you can have several mantras. So for the Pradhana Homam, several options were suggested. You can take one of them that you like and your mother can just chant those. Actually, Homam can also be done to Shani. And if she wants to just do chanting, then pick one of those mantras and chant those mantras. So that will be the best. So directly praying to Shani will be good. The other option is, because Shani is with Mars, and he is a Martian sign in Trinshamsha. For relief from the Saturnine problem, Hanuman can be worshipped. So that is the other option, Hanuman Chalisa. That is actually very good too. So either Saturn himself directly or Hanuman Chalisa. These are what I suggest for relief from the health problem. Any other questions, any other comments?
She wanted you to see her T20s and such something.
I saw it. Yeah. So what do you guys think about the D20? Vimshamsha, the chart of spirituality. See, the Lagna is right on the border. Right? It could be Aquarius or Pisces. So we can't really confidently say anything. It could be Aquarius or it could be Pisces. Huh? Yeah, I mean, it's too much on the border. There's not really much you can say. Do you know anything about her spiritual life? Like, does she have a guru? Does she like this or that, this god or that god, family god? If you know anything, maybe we can help.
She does a lot of Lalita.
She does a lot of Lalita Sahasranam.
Amar and...
Okay, she is attached to Lalita, our mother. Sattvic.
Very sattvic form.
Gentle forms of the mother, not the Raudra forms. Okay?
And
anything else? Family deity, in her family. she was on her paternal side? You don't know? You don't know, or does she not know?
I don't know, sir. She,
Okay.
for me, she always used to,
Okay.
and
Okay, this may be right. The thing is, if the fifth house, if the Pisces is the Lagna, then the thing is, fifth lord moon is still with Mercury. Moon-Mercury combination can show Lalita, right? A Sattvic form of the Divine Mother. But Rahu Ketu in that sign, in Cancer, that would have shown some Ugra form also. But the thing is, if you take Aquarius as the Lagna, then the fifth house, the fifth lord Mercury is in the fifth house. And he is with moon. So very likely very sattvic form of the Divine Mother. Like Saraswati, Mercury can show Saraswati, or moon can show Lalita, Parvati, Uma, Gauri, this kind of forms. So given that she is attached to Lalita Sahasranama Stotram, or Lalita Vashe, or Sri Vidya, all these things, that shows that Aquarius is probably right. Okay, so we'll after all we'll see it. So what do you think of this chart? What do you guys say? Saturn is the Lagna Lord in the 8th house. Right? Saturn is the Lagna Lord in the 8th house. And he is exalted. Lagna Lord's exaltation is good. Right? Lagna Lord's exaltation basically gives strength in the chart. Basically, there is spiritual potential. Lagna in spiritual chart, the chart of spirituality, T20, is your spiritual potential. Is your spiritual self. So Lagna Lord being in the 8th house shows somebody who is workaholic or somebody who can spend a lot of time on pujas. Some people, if you tell them do so and so puja, they can do for 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes. Anything above it, why that long? They can't sit for that long. But somebody with Lagna Lord in the 8th house, if she needs to do a puja for a couple of hours or an hour, she can sit down for an hour, couple of hours and have patience basically. Discipline and patience is there. So that is first thing that we can say. Based on, moreover, Saturnine Lagna. Such people are usually relatively patient. So some patience is there as far as spirituality is concerned. And the fifth lord is in the fifth house, Mercury, right? Actually he is in the fourth house, but fifth lord is in one sign. So strength of the fifth lord will mean devotion. So the person has a lot of devotion. Fifth house is the house of devotion. So very devoted. So she basically following rules, having rules, following rules. When you do this puja, you should follow these rules, you should take bath, your surroundings should be clean, like that basically, following all the rules basically strictly. That will be there. With the Saturn and Mercury influence, what it means is the person will be very strict and very patient and very, very devoted. Now, what else can you say? What are the influences on the Lagna? Let's see. Let's look at the planetary aspects. Lagna in D20 is aspected by Venus mostly. Venus has 93% aspect, but Jupiter has 77% aspect. So main aspects are by Venus and Jupiter on Lagna. So Venus and Jupiter are aspecting Lagna. What does that mean? Venus is the 9th lord. Venus is the 9th lord of organized religion and dharma. So he is aspecting Lagna. And his aspect is the strongest aspect. So she is very dharmic. Some people are spiritual, but the thing is they don't like all the rituals, etc. If the 9th lord is aspecting Lagna very closely, she will be ritualistic. She can do a lot of rituals, etc. She will be ritual minded. And what about Jupiter? Jupiter is the 2nd and 11th lord. What does that mean? 2nd and 11th lord? What does 2nd and 11th show in Chamsa?
Mantra.
No, mantra is 5th house. Second is the house of family. 11th is the house of friends. So the thing is when the spiritual activities of the person will be the involvement of family and friends in the spiritual activities of the person. That is what Jupiter shows. That is what 2nd and 11th lord shows. So his aspect on the Lagna is somebody who likes to do with friends, somebody who likes to do with family. So basically somebody either when she does sadhana she is thinking of friends and family, or she wants family to be with her when she does puja. Okay, let's do this puja, come sit, like that basically, that kind of attitude, not basically isolated, or I'll just do it. This is my sadhana. I don't care if you come or not. Not that kind of person. Thinks about the family and thinks about the friends. Okay. What is the potential? What is the outlook for this person? Let's go to Drugdasha and Rashi chart. Drugdasha. Go to Rashi Dashas. Go to Drugdasha. Dasha running right now is that of Libra. Actually, this is a very good Dasha. Why? If you take the 5th house from Libra as Lagna, because Libra, the Dasha sign, is the progression of the 9th house. Progress 9th house is in Libra. So progress 1st house is in Aquarius. So taking Aquarius as Lagna in this Rashi chart, a bunch of planets are in the 12th house. So that is conducive to, including the Lagna Lord, that is conducive to experiences or detachment. So for developing some kind of detachment, the current Dasha is very good, 2010 to 2017. In these 7 years, she can develop a good level of detachment. So this is a good period for doing intense sadhana. So good luck to her. We don't really have to see much else. This Dasha is likely to basically be the peak in her spiritual life. So all the best to her. And by the way, actually, let's suggest one thing. Is Lalita worship good for her, or does she need somebody else? Go to Vimshamsha. Saturn is the Atmakaraka. Take the 12th house from Saturn. Right? Anybody expecting it? Probably Mercury moon. We don't know for sure. Actually, let's look at the longitude, division longitudes. D20 Saturn is at 15 degrees. So we want 15 degrees Virgo, 1543 Virgo, we want aspect on it. And Mars is at 15 Taurus, he has half aspect. Moon is at 1034 and Mercury is at 17 Gemini. Okay, both Moon and Mercury have almost 75% aspect. So Moon and Mercury have a strong aspect on the 12th from Atmakaraka. Moreover, they are in the 9th from Atmakaraka. They are the Dharma Devatas. So 9th from Atmakaraka having aspect on the 12th from Atmakaraka. Moreover, Mercury is the lord of that and Moon is with him. So again, the same planets, Moon and Mercury are standing out. So what do they show, Moon and Mercury? Mercury can show actually Vishnu also. Mercury can show, when he is in one sign, he can show Vishnu. But when he is with Moon, basically if Moon dominates, it can show Lalita. So or Durga, Parvati. Not Durga, Parvati. So either Parvati or Lalita as she is doing, or Vishnu. These are the two possibilities. And if it is Vishnu, Mercury with Moon can show Krishna. So either, another form is Mercury can show Saraswati. So Saraswati, Lalita, so if she is already in Srivijayopasana, that is fine. That is a good line for her. The other possibility is augmenting it with Vishnu Sahasranama. That is the other possibility. But she is on the right path. She doesn't need like any Chandi Saptati or this Durga Saptati or any other sadhanas. This is enough for her. Srivijayopasana is enough for her. If at all, Vishnu basically may be suggested. That's all. So good, she is on the right path and she will have some experiences in the next 7 years. So all the best to her. Okay. With that I end the class today. Om Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Dharmika Jana Sukhino Bhavantu Yavad Bhumandale Sanatana Dharmo Vardhatu Visheshatah Bhartakhande. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.